All right, everyone, welcome to my first tech talk. Thank you guys for taking the time to come on out. We'll be doing this every other week for on the QA industry side, and then Tom will continue his morning Joe's on the BI related side on the off week. So, get talk about memo. Hopefully, it's a workout, and we look for your feedback. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about an article I read about, and I'm new to this industry, but this is called mobile marketing automation. And I sent this article to you guys on Monday or Tuesday. Hope you got a chance to read it. I do have some questions after this. But before I jump in, and what I'll do is I'll make it really easy, and I'll show you guys a video on this screen, which will hopefully give you a very clear perspective of what mobile marketing is. You guys all see the Urban Airship page? Oh, shoot. Of course. I did. Huh. Try again. Oh, I haven't hit show button. Oh, there you go. Tell me. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play this. Hopefully you guys can hear audio. It's a minute and a half ad. It's just music, so. All right. So I think I counted 6 times he looked at his phone. So something interesting there, right? You know. Well, hopefully that you guys yeah, that just give you a very visual picture of what mobile marketing automation is. And this is not a new concept. Uh, this is actually a spin-off of what traditionally is called app analytics. In fact, the difference between mobile marketing automation is it's like app analytics on steroids. There's a nice paragraph here that tells you that essentially it's a mashup. You take modern app analytics with old school CRM and web based marketing tools, basically, and do them for mobile. You get what you have now. This concept of mobile marketing automation. So this is where the site's going, right? And many of you guys have apps. You've seen concepts of it yourself. You know, if you're playing games, it's very common. You'll see companies like, pop up and ads and banners like Tapjoy, where they are one of the known big players in the iOS space to show you little ads at the bottom of your screen. I mean, that's just advertising in one way, but a lot of this stuff is now just not just blasting random ads at people, but it's now targeted, right? It knows if you're traveling and flying to Dallas, you know, it might will detect where your phone is based off of your GPS and your IP address, and flashing an ad for maybe the closest steakhouse down the street or something like that. So as you can see, advertising, it's always been targeted, but there are a couple of aspects here that mobile marketing, according to this graph here, of features that is showed. So I guess I'll get into it first. So first off, did anybody not get a chance to read through this article? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna assume silence is No one did. So no one didn't. Oh, okay. All right. So what? Okay, yeah, I was asking, man, didn't read it, so that's why I was asking for professors. Thank you, Tom. Um, I guess first off, does can anyone tell me who the big players in the MMA world is, and not mixed martial arts, but Amazon, Alibaba, yep. So actually, those are consumers of these analytic companies, right? As you can like Apple and such. The companies that you may not be aware of that are behind all this work are companies like Urban Airship, the site we just saw, Tapjoy. Let's see, I'm going to scroll to the page where it talks about right in the article. There you go. So Giant Space is Urban Airship, over 30,000 applications today. And by the way, they have APIs that they do is the way this works is these companies will either work with the development company or the agency and implement an API for a developer to basically reference their platform into their phone. So, for example, if you're a gaming company and you want to know, just standard analytics, right? If you're a gaming company and you want to know how many people are downloading that game, how many people are rating it, plus, minus, 1 star, 5 stars, how many people are buying stuff from you, what are the average, target audience, all that good stuff, all your information. Companies like Urban Airship, Tapjoy, Localytics, they would have these little APIs that hook into your app, and they will essentially crawl and watch your phone and see where you're at. And based off that, the data or just a standard analytics would do is they'll pull and find patterns of what's being used. With mobile, not at all. And there's just one little button that says, "Please accept this." Right? I accept my contacts. Exactly. With mobile automation, market automation, it's now to a point where now you can control all that and push. The difference between this and traditional app analytics is you can now control these functions from your website. Like here, let's go back to that company we looked at, and an example of what they would see. So here's someone that is sitting behind a terminal, right? That say a web administrator, and basically, or you could do it yourself if you're an admin for your app, but you can basically push things anytime you want, and check when has this been opened, push notifications. Let's take a look really quickly at what are the top area features that mobile app automation is actually consumed. So just take a look at this just chart right here. You guys can see my screen, right? What are the top delivery forms right here? You can see. I mean, you can always just call that. Let's just talk through it. And what do you guys think those are? Mm-hmm. 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 One of them is going to be much more targeted and I mean there is not a lot of differences because it comes through SMS campaign will come through an SMS application. That's you typically like if you're on an iPhone, you're going to get it through your Apple iMessage. Push notifications is the same kind of thing, but it's directly through your app. You can get it. I'm sure you've got notifications on your phone before when you say a news article popped up, right, or something, or that's a push notification. Where hmm it's a different technology wise. It's slightly different. SMS is a type of protocol that you can use to push, but push notification actually has its own protocol. It's called like push API, where it's much more scalable to our app developers to open up to any ecosystem. SMS campaign is typically going to be tied to that particular ecosystem. So if you're an iPhone guy, you're going to be only using SMS API for iPhones. For a push notification, it's going to be much more agnostic to your device. and so that's why I can see does it make sense that it's a number one most targeted feature up here? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, that is actually that might be a banner, but I think that's but it could be. You're right, and you guys have and it does, and there's no reason why it can't be pushed to your web pages too, right? It's not mobile is just one of the main mediums now. Anything else on here catch your eyes or in these features? Yeah. Ah. hmm hmm Exactly. That's just the scary stuff you're just talking about, right? Like what is the company looking at? How are they watching me manage my phone? How am I using my phone, right? What a it's pretty powerful. Things down here at the bottom, surveys, feedback. Some of this stuff is opt in, right? Promotion, sales, like surveys, feedback. You kind of have to opt in. You have to like say yes, I'll do that. LTV tracking is more like is more retention based customers. Are you going to come back and buy another app or in-store app? Things like that. You have rewards, incentives. I think a lot of this stuff is also marketing, but you can see they're probably it's they're in addition to the obvious push notification being very quick and easy to just tell you what's going on in the latest news. It's also very very low powered and very easy to send. Like the concept of beacons, for example, if you are in a shopping center or in an airport, beacons require very low energy and a very low transmission a type of data and very very small set of data to be pushed. All it is just a signal saying I know where your phone is now. Push text, and text we all know is very very low byte wise. So it makes that's why watches, the whole concept of smartwatches is at least Apple Watch is really starting to explore one of the main biggest features is push notifications. Like you don't see video, you don't see a lot of stuff come to you because it's very bandwidth consuming, but things like push notifications are really going to be much more ubiquitous other than your phones, right, and your watches. So certainly an area to watch out for because all companies that are trying to market something is going to use push notifications for their business. So the article also talks about other types of players. Adobe is another major player here. They've got about 10,000 apps. Tapjoy, I think they're shooting at 30,000. Like these guys are all bragging about app developers and companies that come to them so they can implement their MMA technology in their systems. So, first question: what are some of the quality challenges that you can see when dealing with companies that specialize in MMA? What are some of the quality challenges you can think of here? Let's go back to this list here, assuming this is the set of deliverable mediums that these MMA companies are using. Mm, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. What do you think that could do for the users that are consuming? Right. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. What if he got an ad to buy, to go buy purses now that he can't be, his plans are canceled. What is he gonna do with that? Right? Oh, you're right. So there's a privacy concerns there, as well as like yeah, and I could accidentally send it to the wrong phone number, right? That isn't so. There is some human errors that could happen here. You implement put the wrong numbers in the wrong category, and you might get a promotion or sales that doesn't even fit, or as well as like you said, notification there. So certainly challenges there, and of course another one I would think about is Medium, right? We talked about just the video ad was a Medium example for phones, but What about students shooting to watches, shooting to tablets? Some items that have larger screen sizes, you could potentially push more data, right, and more cleaned up visual, pretty data if you have a larger screen to present. Whereas on a watch, you can really just get away with maybe less than five, maybe 5 words or something. Whereas on a phone, you can maybe get at least 10 words in or 15. So there are certain aspects of quality testing that you make sure you know the screen size and the and of what information you'd be sending out and marketing to whatever devices people are using. Yes. Yeah. Uh, the do not call.gov app. Right. Hmm. That's a good question. I don't know of one because what happens is that you can there is no one solution to just shut down everything, is what you're saying, on your phone. I mean, every single app, not every single app, but every app has the ability to disable, right, your notifications on your phone. Whereas in the old analog phone days, you can't do that. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. I. Mhm. Yeah, no, I think that you make a good point because there's a lot of other tools out there, right, to for you to opt out on things like not traditional push notifications or phone, but other like mail and all that. So and there's all these different channels and avenues that are still manually done, right? But yeah, hmm right, right. Yeah, you're right. It's just like email filters, right? When you get a lot of junk, they're not quite the notifications, but it's like you said, is there a way to filter? That's a good question. I would think that something like that should be done at the operating system level. Like it would certainly be in the interest of say Android, and just similarly, and this is just a side. When I was working at Mozilla, Firefox had a checkbox on the browser that's called Do Not Track, and the concept of Do Not Track is I don't want advertisers listening in on every time I visit a website, because there's all this companies like AdClick and big agencies like that are susceptible to hook tied into your IP, and basically when you visit a website and you get all these spam pop up, there's a lot of pop unders that you don't see, and they built a tool where there's a nice visual tool. I'll show you one day, but you can go to any website in your history, and then you can see what ad companies or agencies are tied off of that website, and it's amazing. And then so this do not track ad gives you a chance to just look at all the surrounding websites that are tied to the site you're visiting, that and just turn it off. And basically you're just filtering all the ads and anything out. It's similar to like ad block, but it's not quite, because ad block will block actual ads on your page. This is all the stuff that's really deep linked out of the header of the website. And so in a similar concept, but you can control that at the browser level. And I think that what you're suggesting, Tom, is something that would be definitely need to be done at an iOS or Android level. But because they're deep linked into the notification APIs that they're the ones actually building for these authors. So, but good idea. So okay, so I have one more question, and then how do you think Q analysts can make this area of MMA or related products important to our business? Like what things can we think about here that we'd like to pay attention to? Maybe even just discussions with other folks or clients. What jumps out to you that we can kind of find a way to insert this knowledge into our day-to-day lifestyle? You guys, can you think of any ways? Advertising is not always looked on very highly by consumers, right? But by businesses, it's absolutely, a lot of them is their business model. I'm wondering if any of you guys have dealt with any clients that have kind of that use advertising as part of their business, and then maybe is something that you've seen them investigate more analytics and more user profile cohort analysis type of you know deployments. Anyone have any experience with this? I'm suggesting that we should not be omitting the idea that this type of technology is now built into their applications and their business model, and because this is a way that they have to generate income as well as retaining users and also connecting with users, right, for competitive for for competition. So I guess what I'm suggesting is, if you're ever talking to a company that is, especially data, right? This is tied very closely to big data, right? All this information, they're pushing this stuff out, but they get a lot of this information back, right? That's how they can tell, what people are doing on their phones or on their watches. So if they are using, I guess, so my thought is, you guys are ever investigating their BI strategy or their QA strategy, really the BI strategy, like, are they, this question you can bring up, like, well, are you guys using some sort of a analytics or marketing automation technology for your practice? And this is not just really for mobile. This example is for apps and mobile, but websites can do the same thing, right? They implement this work. Mhm. Okay, that's all I had today. Any thoughts? Any comments people have? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. And on the QA side, I would say, my very first concern is, anytime you're dealing with people's data, be very careful. Because for those examples we just talked about, where like you could be pushing a notification to the wrong audience, or you might be pushing some information, that is should have been privacy, but it's not, right? Because these are all mechanisms, right, that you have listed here, of deployment and collecting information, but it doesn't specifically talk about what type of information, and who it goes to and where. And I don't think the market is. It's I mean, computers can use patterns and metrics to determine that, but it's never going to know down to each person and what their preferences and everything. I mean, it can learn to get better, but there is prone to be mistakes, if if someone accidentally flips a switch and adds the wrong distribution list, for example, to the push. So for the QA side, we in addition to testing the applications and making sure it's doing what it should do, which is these types of categories, these features here are working. It's also important to represent the user and customer and make sure the data is valid and it goes to the right place, and that's sometimes not always caught by automation and computers. So. Mhm. Mm. Yeah, you're right. In fact, I'm willing to bet that probably 80% of these messages being sent are not crypted. Like, why would I need to encrypt it? Hey, go shop for a 20% off sale at this store. There's no real business case to have to decrypt it. It takes time and decrypting it, and it just slows it down. And people probably aren't thinking this is an insecure thing, but for cases that you just brought up, it could be right. So, mhm, mhm. Oh gosh, you're right. Absolutely. Okay. If there's any other comments, okay. Thank you, Tom. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, folks. About 2 minutes back, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. Bye, everyone.